This video is going to be about speculations about the 2015 BreyerFest Surprise model, which will not be officially revealed until at BreyerFest. This year, the BreyerFest Surprise model is called Quelle Surprise. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it right or not. I am sorry for my terrible pronouncing. I do not know how to speak French at all. First off, I would like to say that I would have edited this video better, but because of the lack of time of preparing for BreyerFest, which is coming up extremely fast, I was not able to do as much editing on this video as I would have liked. Although the information in this video and the patterns that I've gathered, I've done actually over quite a while, at least a couple months I think. I've been thinking about this and figuring this out. Another disclaimer, I do not own any of the following photos in this video. They all belong to their respective owners. All these photos are from either the Breyer website or the Identify Your Breyer website. I do not own any of the photos in this video. Also, on another note, not all the BreyerFest live auction models, and possibly maybe another tent special model, have not been released yet, so some of my assumptions and guesses could be proven wrong in a few days depending on what next models come out on the BreyerFest news on the live auction models and tent special models and whatnot. Just to put this out there, I don't actually know what the surprise model will be. I do not know at all. This is just based purely off of educated guesses, which I have done based on previous BreyerFest patterns in the past several years. The BreyerFest surprise model has been done for 5 years now, and it first started in 2009 with the quarter horse gelding. They didn't do a surprise model in 2010, but then they did do the surprise model again in 2011, and so far it has been done every year since then. It is the information and patterns from these last 4 to 5 BreyerFests that I have been making all my assumptions and guesses off of. So how this is going to work, I'm going to be going through and eliminating molds that the Quelle Surprise BreyerFest 2015 surprise model will most likely not be, and then towards the end of the video I will show you what molds are left, and out of those molds what I think will likely be the surprise model based on what the other previous surprise models have been. It's pretty easy to assume that the surprise model is not going to be a mold that is already a BreyerFest celebration model, special run, or tent special. I'm also going to be assuming that the surprise model will be on a traditional scale. It will not be like another scale like classic or stablemate. I'm pretty sure it'll be a traditional scale model probably. I'm also assuming that it is going to be a horse and it's not going to be another kind of animal or equine like a donkey or a mule. I'm guessing it's going to probably be a horse. I also doubt that the surprise model will be a standalone foal. It could possibly be a mare and foal set. That's been a lot of speculation. People think that maybe it will be a mare and foal set, and we cannot rule that out, that it could possibly be a mare and foal set, but I really doubt it would be like a standalone foal or like a set of foals or something like that. So for this video, I'm not going to be including foals into my speculation because I really doubt they would do just a foal by itself, but that doesn't mean they could possibly do like a mare and foal set. So let's go through now on the molds it cannot be. So I've seen from previous BreyerFest patterns that the BreyerFest surprise model is never the same on a same mold that any of these other kind of models for BreyerFest for that year have been done, if that makes sense. So anyway, I'm just basically pretty sure that it won't be on any of these molds because all these molds have been already used for other BreyerFest models for this year. The surprise model this year will not be on the Roy the Belgian mold because that mold is already used for the celebration horse. It won't be on a mold that is a raffle model this year, which means it won't be on the Proud Arabian Stallion mold or the Wyatt mold. It also won't be on the BreyerFest Early Bird Raffle Horse, which is on the Idicus mold. It will not be in the same mold as the store special. This rules out Strapless, Sarlano, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and the Zebra mold. The surprise model will probably not be on the same mold as a special contest winning model, such as Truffles, which is the winner for the diorama contest, Anahe and Aganada, I really don't know how you say that, but the two models on the Hermosa and Carranza, I don't know how you pronounce these things. These are the surprise models for the BreyerFest Custom Contest. The surprise model will not be one of the two models that are for the BreyerFest Open Show Overall and Reserve champion models, which are on the Lady Phase and Hackney model. So that rules out all those models already because they've already been used for other BreyerFest models. Based on the patterns I've seen from other BreyerFests, the Surprise model is not on a mold that has already been used for any of those kinds of things. However, there's one mold I am not sure about if it would be reused or not. Since the Breyer crystal models are fairly new and hard to track any patterns off of because they've only been released for like a very short time, 1 or 2 years, they've had like BreyerFest crystal model special ones for their tent stores and stuff. I really don't feel like I can rule out then the Cleveland Bay mold as the Surprise model. Even though it is a BreyerFest special crystal model this year, I just feel like I can't rule that mold out. I don't feel like it's very likely that the Surprise model will be on the Cleveland Bay mold because it is used as a crystal model. But again, I feel like I can't rule that out. Next, that is really easy to rule out is the other BreyerFest Special Run models. It's pretty clear that the Surprise model is not going to be on a mold that has already been done for a BreyerFest Special Run for this year. So this rules out the Huckleberry Bay mold, Tortillas, however you say it. It's been out for a few years and I still don't know how to say that. The Marawari mold, the Ashquar Arabian Stallion mold, the Connemara mold, sorry if I pronounced that wrong too, and the Wixom mold. So none of these molds are definitely not going to be the Surprise model. Other molds that are pretty easy to rule out because it is very, very extremely likely that they would use them for the Surprise model is molds that have already been used for the Surprise model in previous years. This rules out the Quarter Horse Gelding mold, the Ethereal aka Conquistador mold, the Flash mold, the Roxy mold, and the Breyer Nakota mold. So all these molds, since they've already been Surprise models, I'm pretty sure Breyer is not going to do another Surprise model in any of these molds. I'm also going to actually be assuming that the Surprise model will not be on a mold that is a live auction model. And this is because the live auction models in the past have not been the same as the Surprise model in their respective years. However, there are molds that are in the live auction that are also special runs for the year that have been in the live auction. It's kind of a thing I can't completely rule out in a way, but I think it's really unlikely that they're going to use the same mold as a live auction model for this year and as a Surprise model mold. And since I'm doing this video before all the live auction model horses are released, it's a little harder to have a definite feel on that, and I apologize for that. However, with the live auctions, a model may be put into the live auction. Like for example, in 2011, they put one of the Surprise models up as a live auction model horse as well. I'm thinking that the lot number 7 mystery model that has not been revealed yet is possibly maybe one of the Surprise models that is going to be up for the live auction. And this is just speculation. I don't actually know if that's going to be true or not, but that's just kind of a guess maybe that this model that Breyer won't reveal is actually maybe one of the Surprise models. More models that I feel like I can rule out. I don't think the BreyerFest Surprise model is going to be a model that was a previous year special run. So the molds that were used in 2014 for the special run models, I really don't think they're going to be using again. Now, I won't rule out though any of the other models. For example, the early bird raffle horse models, the prize models, all those molds I'm not going to rule out that were done in 2014. I'm not going to rule those out, but I feel like I can rule out the special run ones because I have not seen the special run models reused again from one year to the next year, because they won't use a special run mold twice, a mold as a special run 2 years in a row. So this rules out Latigo, Carrick, the Andalusian, the Western Horse, Sherman Morgan, probably Gofford. I doubt they're going to use a celebration horse from last year as a special run the next year, although I kind of feel like I can't rule this out completely, so I'm not going to say Gofford is a definite no or not. I'm also going to rule out Bluegrass Bandit just because she has been used in 2013 and 2014 as store special models, so I'm really doubting they're going to use her again this year because she's already been used 2 years in a row, which is already kind of a rare thing for Breyer to do. Now I'm going to talk about the Alborozo mold, because I have some funny thoughts about this mold. I really doubt the Alborozo mold would be used as the surprise model, but it would be super amazing if it was. I mean, come on, everyone wants an Alborozo surprise model. That would be incredibly awesome. That would be incredibly expensive, but it'd be incredibly awesome. I really doubt they would use the Alborozo mold, but at the same time, I feel like I can't rule this mold out completely. I know that this mold has been discontinued, and I know it's not really supposed to be used except for very limited run models, like for example last year at BreyerFest it was used for an early bird model, but I just feel like I can't rule this mold out. I'm going to quote what the Identify Your Breyer site says. This mold was initially broken by Breyer once the Celebration model was made. There are no more models made on the Alborozo mold, save for a very few small special runs and BreyerFest live auction pieces. So, the reason why I quote that is because, save for a few special runs. We know the mold is broken, but we don't know exactly how many models Breyer has made of this mold still, that they still had laying around. They've made quite a few live auction pieces already, and they had an early bird model. They actually made a crystal model out of this mold. So, I'm not sure. I feel like I just can't rule this mold out completely. I highly doubt that the surprise model will be on this mold, but at the same time, I'm just like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure what their definition of how small these runs of special runs would be. The surprise model could be a run of too many to be considered a small run of special runs. I don't know if Breyer actually really broke the mold, or they just say they did, or if they do have a ton of this mold laying around. Maybe I have no idea what the deal is here, and so I just feel like I can't rule out the Alborozo mold, especially since the Quelle Surprise model in French it means "what a surprise." And it would be what a surprise if the BreyerFest surprise model was Alborozo. Just putting that out there, that would be a definite what a surprise. So, again, I don't feel like I can rule this out. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, a few more things before I show the final list of possible molds. I'm doubting they're going to use an older mold for the surprise model, just considering the past 4 surprise models have all been on newer molds, on pretty much popular molds too. That's another thing I'm looking at, is what molds are kind of more popular, because it seems like they want to be doing the surprise model on those molds because they want to sell them very fast. Although I can't rule out other molds completely. For example, older molds, I can't officially rule them out at all, although I do doubt that Breyer will use them. I wouldn't mind if they used older molds, because I do like older Breyers and stuff, but I'm really doubting they are going to use an older mold on the surprise model. So let's go through pretty much every single Breyer mold ever made on the traditional scale. Yeah, we're going to go through all of them. Well, not every single one. I'm going to show you the list of them, and what is crossed out in red with a red X. That means I highly doubt that mold will be used, because it is used elsewhere as a BreyerFest model of some sort. What is crossed out in gray means that it is unlikely to be the mold used for another reason, such as it was used as a BreyerFest Special Run the previous year, or whatnot. I also crossed out all the foals in gray, even though a mirrored foal set is possible. We're just not going to look at the foals right now. The models that I have boxed in with green, these are the molds I personally think are a high possibility of being the surprise model mold, because of their popularity and other reasons that I will probably go into more in depth. Another thing I also did for picking out which molds I think are more likely, I think they are going to stay kind of with the theme of France, and they're not going to go completely off of it. For example, I doubt they're going to do a stock horse as the surprise model. It'd be really weird, I think, if they did a really stock horse mold as the surprise model, or a really Spanish horse, the Peruvian Paso, for example. I doubt they'd use one of those molds as the surprise model. But I can't completely rule those out, but I just doubt that they would use that. So for the first section of the list thing here, there's really no models that I think could be extremely likely, except for Alborozo maybe. But you can see I crossed out models like in Saddlebred, Marwari, etc., because they've already been used. Second one, you can see, I think the Arabian Mare. You can see the Arabian Mare is one of the molds I think is possible to be the surprise model. It has not been ruled out from the previous ruling out things. It is a popular mold, an extremely popular mold. Everyone seems to love this mold, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did make a surprise model from it. It hasn't been used like a whole lot recently, so I think it could definitely be a possibility. And you can see there's a lot of older molds on there that I just doubt they would be. I doubt it would be the Missouri Foxtrotters, kind of doubting it'll be that one, or any of these older molds, again, just because I don't think they're going to use an older mold. And here's the next one, and the only one I've put in green is the Othello mold. The reason for this is because the Othello mold is a very popular mold again, so I think it would be a very possible surprise model. They haven't used it too much recently, except as a regular run. I think this is a possibility. I didn't highlight Big Ben or the National Sawhorse or Newsworthy, just because I, for some reason, don't feel like these would be the surprise models. They very well could be, but I kind of just don't feel like these ones would be, because they're not extremely popular molds like the Othello mold is, for example. And then the other ones I didn't choose again because they're just older molds. I'm kind of doubting they're going to use an older mold right now as the surprise model. Next page. The reason I didn't choose Bouncer as a possible surprise mold is because it is a pony, and I kind of feel like they won't do a surprise model in a pony mold, especially since I'm guessing the surprise model is going to be like $90 this year. I don't actually know what the cost is going to be, but it's going to probably be $90, and I don't think anyone really wants to pay $90 for a pony mold, so that's why I'm kind of guessing that it's not going to be on this mold. Again, with the other ones, they're just kind of older molds. And the Peruvian Paso is really extremely Spanish mold. I don't think they're going to put a surprise model on that mold, for this year anyway. The next page, I have highlighted Cigar and the Cleveland Bay. I know the Cleveland Bay has been used for the crystal model, but I feel like this could definitely be a surprise model just because it does fit in pretty well with the theme in a way, and it is a popular mold. The cigar mold I think is a definite possibility to be the mold for the surprise model. The cigar mold has not been used a whole lot. It is a popular mold, so I feel like this could definitely be a possibility to be the surprise model. Next page. There are none I feel like are good possibilities to be the surprise model on here. Destado is the only one that is kind of a maybe. I'm not actually sure. The reason why I haven't definitely chose it is because it is kind of doesn't really fit in with the theme too much. But I feel like this mold could maybe be one of the possible molds actually. I'm not really sure how to feel about this mold, but I think it could be one of them. Just kind of unlikely because it is not very fitting in with the theme. Again, the other ones I didn't choose just because they're not quite as popular. I doubt they're going to use the rain mold just because it is kind of a more cartoony kind of mold. I love the rain mold like a lot of people do, but I just kind of doubt they're going to use that for the surprise model. Next page. They're not really on here. Any on here I think are going to be really possibilities. Maybe the Esprit mold, but I'm kind of doubting it just because I feel like they've used the Esprit mold a lot recently. It is kind of a popular mold, but I just kind of don't feel like this would be one of the higher likely possibilities for some reason. But it's one that could be more towards a possibility than like the one above it, El Pastor. I really doubt they would use that one. And then again, I don't think they're going to use the older molds. Next page, I don't have any higher possibility ones because they're all older molds or already ruled out. Although I would love it if it was on the Foundation Stallion mold just because I love that mold. But that's not a really popular mold, so I really don't think they would do the surprise model on that. Then the next page are two that I think are pretty good high possibilities actually. The Show Jumping Warm Blood and the Silver mold. Show Jumping Warm Blood and the Silver mold I think are very high possibilities because they are both popular molds. The Silver mold has actually not been used very much recently, so I think the Silver mold is a definite high possibility. I could see that definitely as being a possibility along with the Show Jumping Warm Blood. I didn't choose like Gem Twist or the Shire, even though those could be possibilities still. I just doubt they're going to use those molds again because they're a little bit older, not as popular, the Gem Twist one is going to be the Christmas horse this year, so I kind of doubt they'll use that one. I doubt they'll use Smart Chick Olin because, again, kind of more of a Western horse, not really much of a French breed. I don't feel like they would use a stock horse like him as the surprise model. The next page, Giselle and Smarty Jones. These are two that I think are possibilities. Maybe not so much on Smarty Jones, just because he has been used as a model recently a couple times as regular run models. Although based on previous BreyerFest patterns, that does not actually completely rule out any models. Sprybus model molds, in comparison to what the regular runs have been really inconsistent, and I can't track that as a pattern at all. Giselle is one I think is very possible. Like a lot of speculation has been that it'll be a Marin full mold, like Giselle and Gilligan. That would be really cool if the surprise model was Giselle and Gilligan. I'm sorry for not pronounced Gilligan wrong. That might not be how you say that. Yeah, that would be really cool, I think, actually, if the surprise model was those two. And that would kind of fit with the surprise model name of What a Surprise, although technically anything will fit with that, but I think that is more of like a what a surprise, it's a baby and a mama horsey, and they're gonna be surprise models, yay. So yeah. Next page, Secession to fall in with that Marin Full idea. I think Secession and Layfire could be possibilities as the surprise model if they did a Marin Full set, which would be really cute. And I know Secession and Layfire is fairly popular as well, so I could see them doing that. The next page, I don't really have any high possibilities, actually. I don't feel like they would use Kennebec Count. I mean, they could, but I kind of doubt it just because of the mold's popularity again. Based on just what they've been doing with the previous BreyerFest special runs, I just kind of don't feel like they would do the surprise model on the Kennebec Count mold, but I can't rule that out. It very well could be, and I could just be doing this whole video wrong, but I don't think it's going to be the Kennebec Count mold, and I don't think it's going to be any of the other molds just because they are older, and Breyer doesn't seem to be wanting to do the older molds right now as the surprise models. The next page, I don't have any highly likely molds either because a lot of them are just ruled out and the rest are older molds. And then lastly, on the last page here, we have 3 models. I don't think they'll do Zippo Pine Bar because, again, Western horsey. I don't think they're going to do the Welsh Cob horse because it's not a very popular mold. They have a new regular run out on it. But this is actually the mold that if I have to choose one mold to guess, I would guess the Lonesome Glory mold. I think it is extremely possible that the Lonesome Glory mold is going to be the surprise model. Why I think that? It is a very popular mold. The last time that I really used the mold was on Zenyatta, which was regular run for quite a while. She was recently-ish retired, I think. But the Lonesome Glory mold, I can just see them putting a lot of crazy colors on this mold. I could just definitely see it being the surprise model. I don't actually know that, of course, but that's just my guess. Although the other molds are very possible too. I, for some reason, just keep thinking it's going to be the Lonesome Glory mold, but I don't actually know that. That is just my guess. So then, what molds does that leave us then, all in all, put together as possibilities that I think are the most possible molds? Although there are the other molds on the list that I didn't highlight in green that could also be the molds, but I just don't think they're as likely. So all the molds I think are very possible to be the surprise model are the Arabian Mare, aka Make-A-Wish, Oasis, that mold. Othello, Cigar, the Cleveland Bay, the Show Jumping Warm Blood, and Silver, Giselle and Smarty Jones, Secession, and Lonesome Glory. Now for the final part of the video, let's talk about colors! As for colors that the surprise models will be on, there's really no telling what the exact colors are going to be. In 2011, the name of the surprise model was Spun Gold Surprise, which gave a clear hint that the color of the models were going to be all gold and light colors, and they were. But this year we don't get any hints of that since the name is Quelle Surprise, aka in English, What a Surprise. But we can assume though that there will be one Appaloosa, one paint, and one solid color on the surprise models. This is because all past 5 surprise models there have been at least one Appaloosa, one paint / Pinto, and one solid colored model. So I'm pretty sure they're going to do the same thing this year. There will be at least one Appaloosa, at least one paint, and at least one solid color horse. And then they're probably going to do one more as another paint, another Pinto, or another solid color, but we won't know exactly. That's all we can really tell for the colors right now, though, is just that it will probably be one of those things. We don't know exactly what colors, if there's going to be bays, if there's going to be palominos, if there's going to be chestnuts. I don't know. We don't know anything about that. So that's all I have for this video about the surprise model speculation. What will the Quelle Surprise models look like? What mold are they going to be on? What colors are they going to be? It's so exciting, and we won't know until Friday, July 17th. Then it will be fun to look back on this video and see if my speculations and guesses were somewhat close to home or if they were completely wrong. We'll find out. In the comment section below, why don't you tell me what you think the surprise model will be?